Because someone started thinking, wait, this guy is almost like promising to transform my body, something that I put off for like 20 years. And all I have to pay is like, for example, 6K to do this.
I mean, almost like skeptical of the quality of the product. The same as like if you buy a cheap product, oftentimes it's just like you expect it to be kind of shit.
Becoming the most expensive is the one lever that we pulled that immediately made us double the business essentially. You need to speak their language. That's what you need to focus on. Let's not look at the fitness bro, let's look at the guy that is successful, and that's what finance is key, because who looks into investment and people that are at this stage. So who can we find that is a successful personal brand that is also making good money with it, which is exactly speaking to your same ICP or an extremely similar one. All right, Nuno, welcome to this one-on-one, two-on-one session that we're gonna have. Our goal today is to really have clarity on our next steps moving forward when it comes to building your personal brand. So we're gonna talk about the offer, who we're targeting, but then more precisely the content and what would be the exact formats and piece of content we wanna start creating to attract new people and then of course convert them into clients for you, okay? So we're gonna go step by step through everything. We're gonna ask you some information so that we can guide you on what would be our next steps together, right? So the first thing, just so we define it, what is currently the name of the program?
It's Shred Tech.
Yes, beautiful. So, like this, correct?
Yeah.
Nice. So, let's start by understanding some clarity when it comes to your ICP. Can you in general tell us who do you help with this program?
Yeah, so I mean, basically, I went really deep on it because it's very much who I am. So, basically, 45 above, male, and executive leadership. So basically, people that have dedicated a decade to business, have had success in business, but at the expense of, I wouldn't say their health yet, but indirectly, but I think mostly here it's the vanity part, which is the driver, I think, for most people. So basically, their body.
Okay. So would you say it's basically because of all the work and the success that they had, they never had really the time or the priority to focus on their body in that aspect of their life, essentially?
Yeah, they just accepted that that was the cost of doing it, and they're just mimicking everyone else around them.
Okay.
And the typical things that happen to get you there have to do with stress, not having discipline in terms of eating, in terms of everything else, no exercise, sitting around a lot of times. So basically it was that. Ironically, what I ended up attracting up to now has been like 35-year-olds, but I think there's a reason behind that, which is basically it's a lot around tech founders, and they're typically younger at that stage, because it's much quicker.
Yeah.
So the age here is something that I have to be a little bit careful.
Okay.
But I don't really talk about the age.
Yeah, of course.
It's more the position and
yeah,
that
exactly.
you attract
The executive
based on.
leadership positions, and then depending on the industry, they might be younger or older in that sense.
And especially if they're founders.
Yeah.
Great. And you started touching a bit on this already, but what would you say that when they decide to work with you, what would be the desired outcome?
The desired outcome, I think it's kind of like, because men don't like talking about this type of stuff, especially successful men, because it's a failure from that point.
Yeah.
So they always talk about like, hey, you're looking like really sharp, whatever. So they don't use the words that you expect.
Yeah.
But you get a sense that they're asking like, what did you do? They're like, we want to know what you did.
Okay.
Before and after. So that's the biggest trigger.
Yeah.
When they fill out the form, and there's a question I ask them, which is, what does this look like? They'll write that they want to be healthier, spend time with kids, but they all put a picture of like a 25-year-old with abs.
Okay.
So it's so clear that's why I call it vanity, which is like trying to get past that taboo of like, let's talk about it. But it's fine.
Okay, very interesting. So the words that they're gonna use is not, get the six pack, but when they envision it, that's actually what they're picturing. Okay.
That's where a lot of my coaching comes in. It's just like forgetting a little bit what they're saying, but understanding where they're taking us. Right?
Yeah, 100%. That's always the thing of like, they don't necessarily know, or they don't necessarily talk openly about what exactly they want. And then as a coach, you have to guide them or better understand them when it comes to that.
My question to you is, If they got to that success point without this, is it like 99% of an ego thing of like, I also want to unlock this in my life? Or do they also attach it to their performance and their work?
I think in general, it's very much a personal thing. They've probably lived through decades, some of them since childhood, where they've never seen abs. So basically their identity is like genetically they can't have that. So which also gives them the opportunity and excuse to give up on doing it. And because most of the targeting is younger kids, they have that excuse. Yeah, when I was that age.
Yeah, of course.
So, what was your question? Sorry.
Yeah, I was just thinking of like when they express is like they also talk about it and attach it to the sense of like, I also know this can help me, how people see me in my job.
They won't.
Like,
They won't
okay.
say that. They
Okay.
won't
Okay.
say that. In general, you're far into the coaching where they start having those conversations.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a very personal thing. That's what I like about this type of transformation. I did other leadership transformation, which I found really boring. But this is very personal. So you actually see these people like breaking down and talking to you about things that they've probably never talked to anybody, not even their wife or anything. And so when they see that, and once we start discussing those things, and when we openly discuss these things, then it becomes clear that they just want to look good.
Yeah.
And then everything else comes, because
Yeah.
they go on stage like this, and they don't like going on stage. And then suddenly when they get to that stage of abs, and we call it abs, it's like, it's not really important, but it's a point where you get to.
Yeah.
Then it's like,
Okay.
it all kicks off. Like everything in the relationship, everything in the...
Because to us it's super important to understand how they're thinking about it before they go through the decision process, right? Because eventually maybe get to that point, but what are they thinking when they want to pull the trigger? Because that's going to relate so much with your content, right? Because at that point you wouldn't speak to them like, this is going to improve the way that people see you and your work, and you're even going to be more successful. Because if it's not what they're thinking, that is not what's going to trigger them.
Paradoxically, it might trigger them to not take action, because it's like, wait, no, that's not really what I want. Like, what I want is just to look good, and that's like already one step too much. And so that's also really important. Like the reason why we also want to really identify and clarify the ICP and exactly what goes on in their mind, which is why like from the sales and even just like from the people that you talk to, all of this data is so important, is because all of this information then becomes your marketing, your landing pages, your VSL, your content, so that you can actually attract them and they can actually feel like you speak directly to them, just because you had usually so many conversations that's really where the sales part comes into the marketing, and why the two parts have to communicate to each other, or like you have to then bring what you learn in the sales into the marketing, so that the marketing actually becomes effective.
Yeah. And I think that the sort of sequence, and that's something I'm testing now with the way that I'm scripting the journey, or going from the first video of the introduction of the sales page to then the booking, etc., is that I turn up the vulnerability as we go deeper in. But I don't start off with total vulnerability, because that will like
throw them off.
Yeah. But then as you go closer, because I believe that there are two things here that drives a person to one is visually seeing, okay, that's what he did from here to here. That's what I want. So typically it's typically people that are losing 20 kilos, 25, because that's what I did. And that's the reference for them, because basically you're guiding them. So that's the reference.
Okay.
Then the second is the trust and likability and how you connect. That's why when you guys started saying you have to get in front of a camera, I said, I know. And then I did. Because then it'd be impossible to create that trust.
Of course. At the end of the day, like, people connect to people. It's like, there's no way around that.
And so there are things I want to test as well. I mean, I get put off a lot by the before and after pictures.
Yeah.
Because I start to look at them, and then I look at them and think, I don't want to be like any of them. And then I start to think, what's going on? Like, and why didn't he lose more weight? And why did he stop? That's not very impressive. So I'm like judging all these pictures, whereas I think, you know, I'm not too sure about the whole before and after, like bombarding them with clients. I know that in terms of financially, that's a trigger, you know, when you're showing.
Transformation.
Because money is money. You know, a million is a million, 100,000. They're references. When you're looking at body, you're looking at opinions.
Yeah.
And stereotypes and all of that. So the idea here is also to, like, to test out a little bit, which is everything is different, or not everything, but I enjoy like testing things that are against, not just because they're against, but because I think it makes sense. And one idea is like the Fight Club. You watch the film Fight Club?
Yeah, of course, my favorite.
Yeah, it's like this is like the Fight Club. You know, it's like when you're in, you know what happens, everything, and then people will talk about it, and that's how it worked with referrals.
Okay, got it. And as of right now, Nuno, with this program, just like you know, a ballpark, how many people are currently inside of it?
So I mean, last year I was the test, because basically this was not something I thought about. Was when everybody started asking me how I did it, and I started charging. And I thought, okay, I can make a business out of it. It was purely referrals. And this year I stopped because I really wanted to concentrate on this, and I had my business going and a lot of things. So I was struggling to stay focused. So basically, at the moment, I mean, I got to the end of the ones that I'm working with. The results are there. It's always the same, predictable, as long as they follow instructions. And so at the moment, I'm not working with anyone. I'm 100% focused on here, and that's one of the things.
Got it. Okay, great.
But how many went through? Like last year, approximately?
14.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fired one, but 13.
Okay, got it. Right, and when it comes to the main obstacle, I already put identity-wise, they do not believe it's part of who they are. This is something that you said before.
Yeah.
Would you say there are any like main obstacle that, you know, is stopping them from going through the transformation before working with you?
I think their age, the fact that they're at a phase where, first of all, they have to be data-driven and evidence-based, because to get to that stage, you're looking at reports, you're looking at so numbers, you're used to numbers. So everything else is fluffy for them. It's just like, so that's the first thing. The second thing is also the bullshit. And then it's the too much information. What they want to know is like, how do I do this the most efficient way? And like, just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yeah.
Which is completely different to maybe other types where people have opinions.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I wanted to do. They're like, no, just give me.
Yeah.
And then what I've found is that because it's so specific, it's like do this, do that. There's no. I don't get anyone, because one of the things, for example, is food-wise, they tell me you just eat the same thing for 3 months, and nobody comes back to me going, oh, but I want diversity, I want to do this. There are no chefs, there are no nothing. So it's like, so they're at that stage where they just want to, one, connect with someone that talks their language, and two, that will just not bullshit them, and three, that will deliver, and then they're ready to go.
Yeah.
They'll follow exactly, and they don't give me loads of things to read, and just give me the basics, tell me what to eat, and I'll do it.
Yeah.
When it comes to, and now we're gonna go a little bit more into the structure, but when it comes to the offer, because of everything that you just said, I'm just curious, how long was it usually the sales process? Is it something that you were able to sometimes close on a call, or it's like multiple calls?
Close them all on one call.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, they were, once they were on that call, they were like, there was even one that, because I wasn't ready, he kept paying me going, is this your marketing, like, making it difficult? And I started thinking, okay, that might be something. A little pushback doesn't...
I mean, a few companies like Rolex and some other use it, so...
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and I've used it before, you know, like high-end restaurants, things like that, access, exclusivity, etc. You then have the responsibility to deliver.
Yeah, of course.
Or else it just becomes bullshit.
Okay. And based on everything that we said, if you would have to put it in a very simple format, like, I will help you X, I will help you doing X, what words come to mind?
The easiest is going chubby to abs in under 6 months, depending
Okay.
on the starting point.
Okay.
That would be phase 1, and it's really the most important one.
Okay, got it. And also, something that is very interesting to me is like this thing about, you know, abs. It's just something that also came from them. Maybe looking at your picture in general, it's like just something like they use on a sales call, or is something that you think they resonate with, so you started using?
It was just, how can I pitch it in the most
Simple way.
global,
Yeah.
understandable way? It doesn't leave any doubt. And also because when you lose weight and you put on weight, one of the reasons, there are many reasons, but there's also another reason, which is like the tipping point, is you don't go far enough. You don't change your identity. So basically you lost weight, you're kind of looking, but you didn't do it right, so like it's like a skinny fat, not quite, and you never get to that point. So getting to abs is that point where you look in the mirror and you think, I have no idea who that other person is.
I think it's very interesting also the whole thing about the identity. There's a creator that then I want to share with you that I started watching his content recently because he started blowing up, and he literally does fitness, but his whole approach is focusing much more on the selling point of making people understand that they need to shift their identity first, and that then the results just follow. And it's very interesting to me because I feel like, for example, this creator that I will then send you the link to found such a unique angle in a niche that's so saturated of fitness, and making people go through this idea of like the reason why you never got the results is not because like the strategy wasn't working or whatnot. It's because your identity was not aligned. And so it has like this very cool comparison of like it's like a thermostat, and it's like the room just gets back to the original temperature unless you actually change the thermostat, even if you try to do everything to cool it down or to warm it up. And so I think that's also something very interesting that we can definitely play into, because it plays into that angle that it's always really powerful in marketing of and I think it's also even more powerful for this kind of people that maybe don't want to feel like it's actually their fault. And so you position it as like, it's not your fault, it's because everything that I told you about fitness is wrong. And the idea is like, you don't need to just like focus on the program or the diet or whatnot. You need to first go through this identity shift. And I feel like that's also really, really powerful, and it's an interesting angle also because you're already mentioning this point.
It's the same as smoking.
Yeah.
You stop smoking when you realize you're not a smoker. It's by choice.
100%.
Smokers, you talk to smokers and they're smokers, but they're not. They're just people that wake up one morning and decide to smoke.
Yeah.
Or keep smoking because it's an addiction, whatever.
And I feel like this is also like already a good comparison, you know, if you put it this way, like this is an analogy, you know, that people can probably understand. And most people don't think about it this way for fitness necessarily, but I think that's definitely like a very interesting angle that we can also play with.
And the other thing that you guys were talking about, which is seeing other niches.
Yeah.
There's one that I've been playing around with a lot, and it's something that it's great for this type of for this market, which is the finances. So budgeting. So when you talk about money in and money out, everybody understands that. Everybody understands how you get into debt.
Yeah.
And so I've been playing around a lot with what's his name, Ramsey, some of his
Dave
videos.
Ramsey, yeah.
Dave Ramsey. And so I've been playing around a lot with that, which is trying to get people to see this as exactly the same. It's like, and that's why actually most people that are overweight are broke. Because there's such a parallel. There's actually numbers that correlate that. So it's very interesting that this way and so anytime that you can start thinking a different way, you're already changing you're already having a change in mindset.
Yeah, I think that's like really, really powerful. That's one of the reasons why I feel like this whole identity thing can be really powerful in the content, because it's like if you make people go through this mindset shift, it's really powerful. I literally remember, and it's like I'm in shape already, so I was not even like in the target avatar in that sense, but I literally remember like watching this video that blew up of this guy and him talking about this whole thing of the identity transformation, and I was like, whoa, like I never thought about it this way. Like I've seen a lot of stuff and I never thought about it this way. And from that moment I started following him, I started watching all of his stuff, because I was like, this is such like an interesting point of view on this thing.
Yeah, and I think a big lesson that we were talking about here is, and it's exactly what I shared in yesterday presentation in the live event, which is more than niche related content. I want you to think ICP related content, and even this thing of like money in, money out, calories in, calories out. You are aligned with the way they think and what they know already, right? So to you, it's like super interesting for you to, for example, go into the finance space, because it's not even the fact that they want, for example, the one ab exercise. They just want to understand what it will be like, but we need to align in the way we speak to them with something that they already know, right? You said it yourself, they're super data driven. They're used to seeing like Excel sheets of money in, money out. So if we're able to match the language, but also the format of how they consume these things, it can be very, very powerful to align with them, right?
And that's why I was asking yesterday about playing around with a series of using business terms, but applied here. So one of the things I was talking about is tipping point. That's a typical business. There's a book around it, huge. And so bringing that language into this might be an interesting way to be like on LinkedIn, for example, which you don't really want to be there, like, go from chubby to abs on LinkedIn.
Yeah, of
like,
course.
where the hell did you come from, right?
Yeah.
But if you can start playing around with some of that language, which has the same result, then I think that could be interesting.
100%. Yeah. And actually, that's why I wanted to ask you, like, how you went to chubby to abs, like when it comes to how you do the core promise of the program, because I understand it's super simple, and that's why I want to understand like the reasoning behind it. But from everything that you told us so far today, this is not the core promise that I was expecting personally, with the way you use the words, right? I understand it's simple, but it's like I expect someone my age, for example, having a program like how to build apps in 6 months, right? So yeah.
But I don't build apps. That's the whole thing, is that you already have apps. So we're not sculpting a 20-year-old. We're like, I'm 55, so that's another thing about the comparison of the before and after. One of the big things I think is like swim in your own lane. So if you're going to compare anything, compare your before and your after. Do not compare yourself to anybody else. And so this isn't about creating abs. Everybody has abs. It's actually removing that fat that you have in front of you that stops you seeing your abs.
Yeah.
So there are people where you won't see a perfect definition of abs because they decided to stop there, which is fine. Sometimes I have clients that go, oh, no, I'm perfect here. Okay, that's great. But there's so much further than they ever imagined.
Yeah.
That's the important part.
I think like an amazing exercise for you, like when it comes especially with top of funnel content, and then we can transform in longer when it comes to middle, is really thinking about all this mindset shift that really hit with your clients. Like for example, this thing of like, we're not building, we're removing, right? There is actually also a guy that I know that is going very, very well on social media, and he's more into the self-improvement in general, but he had this whole framework of like the Michelangelo framework, which is like, we're not building to be more productive, you gotta remove what's not needed, right? So you start from this big chunk, like a big rock essentially, and then by removing, you're able to create what you actually wanted, right? Instead of adding. So like all these mindset shifts are super, super powerful. And if you're able to use the ones that really work with your 13 clients that you work with, and we start from there, like what's better than getting the insights from the clients that you already had, right? I know, so I'm super curious, because I know also we're gonna talk about it, but like the privacy and everything when it comes to your program, but have you recorded this calls that you had with them, coaching wise?
No, I wish I had.
Okay.
I hadn't really thought about it, but I will do it in the future.
Yeah.
Because so much is done on them. So no.
Okay.
But they wouldn't have a problem recording it. There's
Right.
that trust, which I can explain what it's for.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And as long as I respect that, that's fine.
Exactly. So for the future moving forward, for you as data and
Definitely.
insight, I would definitely record all the calls, because you can literally, like we were saying it before, but what's more powerful than getting the insights on how to market and sell yourself from your clients, right?
Absolutely.
These are people that trusted you and gave them your money, their money, not yours. So as a consequence, what's best than getting the insight directly from them? Okay. Okay, beautiful. And when it comes to the deliverables as of right now, for the 13 clients that you had before, what essentially would they get?
So basically, they get a call with me. First of all, they get access to me 24/7.
Okay.
And so that's one of the important things. The second is we have a catch-up coaching call, which is once a week for an hour. And we go deep in a lot of things there. So a lot of times they expect to be talking about sort of more superficial things, and we actually go really deep into a lot of things, and it's driven by them, not by me. So, and then as we go, it sort of sometimes we go deeper with that. Then you get the standard. I mean, I think that's the biggest differentiator, is that basically I'm telling them what they're feeling, why they're feeling it. I give them a heads up of what's coming next, like literally week by week. And I'll say, you're going to hit a plateau, or you're going to be at this stage. It's normal. So when they hit it, they're already fine and they don't panic.
100%.
And so I'm already telling them, I already know what I've already been through it, and I documented it.
Yes.
And so I can see and discuss it with them, and then they give me feedback. And so a lot of times I can see that that's happening as well too.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about, Nuno. Like another mindset shift. You know how with everything you got the uninformed optimism, and then you got the pessimism, the informed pessimism. Like, and you can really connect all these things to certain graph and way of thinking that they already know. That, for example, they're using for business when they're learning a new skill, when they're hiring someone. How can we translate that for fitness, right? And have all these analogies where it's like finally makes sense, right? It's a language I already speak. I just need to apply it in this new area of my life. And if we're able to build this, like, to me, your number one goal right now would literally be understand exactly all the things that they already know and connect this word of fitness and your offer to this. Like, this would be the number one thing, because the moment where they hear that, is like, wow, like this guy literally speaks my language. Nuno speaks my language. Right.
And I mean, that's the number one skill of a coach, is being able to speak the same
100%.
language and the communication. So.
Okay. When you say access to me 24/7, do they have access to a chat with you? Is that like
at the moment, I use WhatsApp. Though because of the position they're in, they're pretty respectful of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're not like, I don't have to tell them, hey,
Yeah, 100%.
Don't stress me on a Sunday.
And it's usually at the beginning. Also, I use all the questions they ask me to create documents for that. So that as we move along, questions that they're asking me will be available to them.
Okay.
And then there's an app, a third-party app. I mean, I did think about creating an app, but then I thought, I don't want to be in that space. And so I use a third-party app, which basically connects to their MyFitnessPal, which is basically I get all the information
to track their
in
macros.
terms of nutritional and their macros, and then it connects to their. I recommend Withings because it connects to the Smart Scale, so I get all their data, and so I can keep an eye on them as well. And I'm always looking at the graph, and then I know when they're cheating or when they're not doing what they, and I'll call them out. I think that's the other important thing.
Accountability.
Yeah, I mean, it's like zero bullshit.
Yeah.
And like I said, I did fire one guy. I'm prepared for that. I did warn him. But fired him in a nice way. I mean, it wasn't like,
No, of
it's
course.
not a Donald Trump, you're fired. It was just like a, hey, there's no point moving on until you sort your shit out. Things that I don't have control over, and he needs to.
And again, man, like every single time you say something, I have a content idea, because fire a client is so powerful as a concept.
I will make a video.
And this
so
exacts fire people.
Yeah.
They do it. So it's like, if you start working together with me, we will have clear KPIs. Again, think that they understand KPIs. It's like, if you don't respect it, like with your employee, I'm gonna fire you, because you're not respecting the agreement that we had, right?
I'd go even further, which I think touches them even more. It's just, if you can't respect yourself, it's not even if you can't respect me, I'm fine. I've done it. But if you can't respect yourself, we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's like, I agree.
Yeah, I think like in terms of positioning, it would be like also a really cool storytelling piece of content. You know, I fired one of my clients because of this, and that. You know, and you.
Every business that I created for financial need, I failed miserably. Every business or project I did that I loved doing, I always end up making money. and this is no different. I'm really passionate about this. I'm really enjoying doing this, and luckily I don't need the financial part. It is important for every business, obviously, and I am interested in that. But it's not a need. So I get to play around a little bit and do things a bit differently. And we spoke about this at the beginning, which was I have time. You know, which again is also a bad thing. As we discussed yesterday, I'm aware of that as well. Which is then you need to find another driver to move quickly.
Of course.
Yeah.
The main thing to me, like for you when it comes to a driver, is just like I feel like you have such a unique angle and a good, like something so cool that you could build with this that I would be so pissed if just like someone else got there before me. Because of course, like especially in fitness, it's like a niche where there's a lot of competition, there's a lot of people doing it, and there's always people trying to find this, like more of these unique angles to be able to take on the market and take pie, like a piece of the pie. And so for you to be able to really develop this and move forward with it so that you can create your sort of blue ocean and your unique offer that nobody else is doing. And it's like, at the end of the day, there is always like a huge advantage in being the first of doing it, inevitably in business, like you're well aware of that. And so to me, it would be just like having the urgency in that sense. And also being driven by that mission as well of like, you know how powerful this transformation has been for you, you know how powerful it has been for these people that you already helped. And so being like, if that's something that you really believe in and that you feel like could help people, it's
almost feel the moral obligation to do
exactly.
Yeah. No, I'm ready to go. So it's like
beautiful.
I've spent enough time getting ready.
Yeah.
And now I desperately want to get
ready.
100%.
Test all these things.
That's great.
They're all hypotheses. You know?
Yeah, that's great, man.
Great, but
when it comes to the deliverables, everything makes a lot of sense. Just one thing that I'll tell you, and one also your input, because who knows your ICP better than you. When it comes to access you 24/7, this is actually something that we were talking to Michalis the other day. I'm not a huge fan of that because these are super busy entrepreneurs and execs. And as you said, they already respect your time. So to me, for making the offer scalable in the future, but also selling yourself in a more powerful way, I would almost have like clear windows of time where they can reach out to you. Right? This would make your time more valuable, but also they would even more see you as someone like them, right? Because these people are fast, but also they set the right expectations with people. I don't expect to call a super big entrepreneur and being able to dedicate 1 hour to me in that moment because they're super busy, right? So that's why I'm not a huge fan of the 24/7 for this specific reason. So I would try to limit this and really be clear and set the right expectations.
Makes sense.
And I mean, it's beautiful to build something that is really scalable. And if you set the right expectations early, I mean, we started, like, don't get me wrong, the first time we started selling an offer, we didn't understand this concept. It was unlimited one-on-one calls with me. Just close the guy before you got here. And it's like, we do a bi-weekly 1 hour call with us. That's it. And when you do that, people get to the call so prepared. Right? Because they respect your time and understand that they have that one opportunity. If it's like, didn't really prepare, but I mean, I can schedule a call tomorrow, right? The call is going to be...
the weather.
Right, exactly.
I think this comes from, if you ask me what my end game is, I don't want to scale this. What I want to do is, so if you ask me, okay, what's your vision of where you want to be? Be working with 10 people a year maybe, at a really high level, at which I am on call, because if a crisis hits or something. So if you imagine that when you're doing business transformation with executives, you're on the same level as everybody else. You go to the office, you'll talk about things like business, whatever, and then the transformation kind of happens, doesn't happen, whatever, and then you move on. When you do something like this, you create a bond that then it's not an upsell, but it's an opportunity to keep working with that person. And sometimes it happens. So, I mean, there's one person that actually I've been working with for the last 8 years. And so that's where you develop a relationship of trust, and they're like every time that they want to discuss something or whatever, they're they'll discuss it with you. So that's where I want to be. Instead of like, I don't really want to be at a point where I have like. Where I have to start outsourcing this to other coaches.
But I feel like also like just for the target avatar, like it's not even something that would naturally happen. And at the same time, 100%, like we're also big fans of saying like, I want it to be more hands-on and just like keep on raising the prices for exclusivity. And just that.
Because it gets easier.
Yeah.
The quality gets better.
Yes.
Because as you go up, in general, people.
Yeah.
It's different people that you're talking to, 100%.
Yeah. So that's basically maybe that's what. But I agree with you at this stage. It's
100%.
Definitely not. Definitely wouldn't do that.
And I agree with you when it comes to how I see this scalable is by increasing the price more and more rather than onboarding more people. But this to me is a better delivery and better result thing.
Yeah.
It's not just less time
makes
for
sense,
you. Yeah. Beautiful. Great. As of right now, the duration is 6 months.
It's 12 months.
Okay.
Because there are 3 parts to this.
Okay.
Really push the first part, which is the most important, and which is the one that resonates.
Yeah.
And then you have the option if you want to continue with the second and the third part.
Okay. Can you quickly tell me the 3 phases?
Sure. So the first one, the most important one, is basically shredding to abs. So that's the first one, very visual. That's the huge impact, transformation, etc. The second one is when we start diving into the whole of, okay, how are your organs functioning?
Okay.
So work with third-party suppliers where basically run diagnostics.
Okay.
Instead of like you taking your supplements because magnesium, whatever, we'll figure out exactly what your body needs. And so it's still early stages in terms of there are 2 or 3 companies. One of them I work with where actually the data is quite strong. And that's because you're getting data points from blood, saliva, stools, etc. So you're getting a lot of data. And so basically, it's about your body now. Okay, so you've come down to you've done this losing weight, shredding. You're down to this physical point that you like. And then the second part is, okay, let's look at your organs and see what your needs are, etc. So we build on to now we're getting into health. So now the second part is the health. The third one is longevity, and so that's basically the DNA test that we do, again with a third party, and that tells us not probabilities. DNA doesn't tell you probabilities; it tells you propensity to. So in my case, for example, I figured out that I have a propensity to addiction, so that would explain some of my behaviors into smoking, etc. And I think emotional eating. And that's important because I actually thought I'd solved the problem. But then when I got my DNA test back, I started thinking about it and I started thinking, okay, so this is something I actually have to live with because it's in my DNA. So now, instead of like I'm fixed, it's like, no, I'm always aware enough that I don't screw up. So I can eat sugar here and there, but I know that I have a propensity to get back to it. So then you're looking at longevity, and it'll tell you things like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, etc.
Okay.
And so there you're looking at, okay, so in the next 10 years, things that I do now, and it's all interlinked to then cardio and some weight training, then you start looking at the longevity. So basically it's like, this is the 12-month program, but there are people that will sign on for the 12 months, will get to the end, will go to the end of the shredding part and will go. Or like I have 2 clients at the moment that are saying, okay, I want to now jump onto the
next step.
Right. Okay. It makes a lot of sense, and I think the 3 phases are super interesting. Again, thinking in content, but all these videos going viral about take this amount of milligrams when it comes to this and this and it's
reacting to that.
I just want you like reacting or even just like straight up calling the bullshit of this and being like, you don't even know your organs and what they need.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, right? And what I was saying, it's like you see a lot of stuff in the fitness space and you're like, I don't want to create content like that because I disagree. Awesome, let's play into that. Let's disagree. Let's show that you disagree with that and why, and explain to people why. And by taking that contrarian voice, you can actually create a much stronger brand.
The only thing I don't want to do is I don't want to get into the showing a specific person. And getting into that. That's
Okay.
like again, none of this is judgmental.
Yeah.
It's just
Right.
strategic.
No, of course.
You get into this sort of, you go down this, rabbit hole. And
Yeah.
I've seen this with other people that I follow, that once they start, then the whole ping pong thing starts. And then it's like the other side saying you don't, and then it's the other crazy person that has 4 million followers saying that you doctor don't know anything the way you're discussing, and it's like this crazy bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I want to just like, you do your own work, but this is, and scientifically this is what's...
No, 100%. I think that when it comes to that, it's always how you communicate it, because like, and I've seen creators that I think are really good at that, that they might be reacting to stuff and they might just like question it. They're not like attacking the person, or they might even be just like, listen, like no shade to the guy. I don't think like he did anything wrong. Like this is what the science tells us.
Yeah.
You know, and if you put it like that, it's like there's no arguing. Like, you know, they could reply, cool, but it's like whatever. Like I'm just telling you what I see, and I'm just telling you like the actual facts on this.
I mean, even someone like Train Bloom, super simple, but he always just simply like watches something, and then it's like he just gives the science behind.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
He's not even judging what they're saying in the video. He's just like
a good example.
exactly.
But everybody is, and some of the stuff. I mean, like Diary of the CEO. I'm a huge fan of that. But more and more, I've started to see so much bullshit appear on there, and scientifically wrong. I was watching one yesterday, which was, they were saying, this whole calorie deficit is bullshit. You know, all the studies we've done shows that, and basically what he was discussing was long term. But no one is suggesting you go on a calorie deficit for a year or 2 years or whatever. And so he's basically suggesting like for a month or 2 months or 3 months max, you're doing this calorie deficit. So it's like...
But I think that's interesting, you know, exactly that's how you can put it. Like you react even to something like that, and you're like, but the problem here is like that this is correct, but it's thinking long term. And if you actually want to lose weight in the short term, you actually need a calorie deficit, and it's well proven by these studies, etc., etc. And if you put it like that, you know, it's like...
And it's semantics, but it's
100%, 100%.
All it is authority borrowing, which is very powerful when you start. Just like being able to leverage something like Diary of a CEO, what is it, like the most viewed podcast on earth right now? Of course, that gives you that initial attraction, and then it gives you a voice, right? So again, it's always about how you do it. I think the two ways of going about it is like being very informative rather than confrontative, and the other way is if you take a topic that is big enough and people have heard it before, you don't even have to call out someone specific. It's like everything you know about creatine is wrong. Let's just say this, right? For example, it's like, people already know about creatine. Everybody talks about creatine. You should take creatine. It's like the topic has enough attention that without really picking a person, is the topic that has the authority in that point. And you're borrowing that, right? So you have these two ways of going about it. But yeah, the last thing that we want to do, especially for your ICP, is really get you in that confrontation. You should almost place you as not above, but like you're just commenting on it from like a precise perspective and a scientific perspective, right?
I like the English way of doing it, you know.
Yeah. Not the American one.
You know, I didn't do that. We're friends.
Beautiful. The only thing that I'm not a huge fan looking at this is I'm not sure how much you split tested this, but the second where I'm like, you're really playing the marketing of like, you only need 6 months to get to this, 6 months to get to this, 6 months to get to apps, and then it's like, program is 12 months. That personally would throw me a little bit off offer-wise, because usually you want to align the duration that it takes to get to the result, the transformation, to the duration of your program, right? And understand you guide them when you say, this is for the longevity and for the health, but at the same time, the first time you told me, I was like a little bit, but I thought that it only needed half of that time.
So basically it's 12 months, 6 months is for, up to 6 months is this part that we're talking about, the shredding, and in the following 6 months is where we dedicate, if you want to call it, the first 6 months is pure vanity.
Okay.
Second 6 months, it's health.
Got it.
Okay, and longevity, sustainability.
Yeah.
So those are the two stages. And then we work on, depending on who it is, in a more specific way to them. So is that easier to understand? Like,
Yeah, it is. It is. To me, what's important is like the moment they go through the materials and everything before the call, this to me needs to be already clear. Like the first time you drop this piece of information, to me, it wouldn't make sense to be on the call.
Okay.
Because maybe the marketing was more oriented to the 6 months and then vanity, and then I'm jumping on a call one in that and thinking about that timeline, and then you add me in a 1 hour call, this whole double the time thing with 2 added chapters to it.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's a super strong, like I love these 3 phases. I think they're super interesting, and your ICP would understand this, but I would communicate this to them before they actually jump on a call.
Yeah, on the site that I've done now, it has the 3 stages.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Okay.
It's like the thing that we were talking about appointment setting yesterday. That VSL that we send, it's all about the phases that we're gonna go through together. But they jump on a call and they already know the 3 phases that we have, right? So it's not like, oh, do I need this? Because they never heard it before. Because the problem is with this is like, some people might get excited, some people might be, I just wanted apps, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, at least if you show them before, they get to the call where they're already bought in the process that you show them.
That makes sense too. Also, it's like strategically, 12 months is double 6 months financially.
Yeah.
First thing. The second thing is that it gives you an opportunity on the call to
Upsell
or down.
or downsell.
Yeah,
You discussed yesterday.
Yeah.
Sometimes which happened to me, which was what I did when I went to a coach to lose weight. Which was he pitched me the 12 months and I thought it's too much, but I really wanted to work with him, so I suggested, I said, why don't we just do 6 months for half? And he was like, okay. No, I'm like, okay. Happy. So that was basically it, so
Got
it's
it.
like, again, with this type of person, like, money is not the thing, like,
Right.
it's not that it's not important, it's fundamental. But they don't want to discuss it or negotiate or anything. It's like you either got your shit together and it makes sense.
Yes.
And to me, it makes sense, the value, or then you haven't proved your value.
Yeah.
And we have no deal.
No, yeah.
100%, man. When it comes to now that you also change into presenting the 3 phases in the website and everything, what is your thought process when it comes to the pricing? Do you first pitch the 12, and if that, and if that's the case, what do you currently charge for? And then if you downsell to the 6, what is the price range for that?
So initially, because I was thinking initially the 2-tier, not this 2-tier. So initially I was thinking 2-tier, which is basically the one-on-one coaching, and then basically the program where people can follow, but there's no coaching. But then I didn't want to get into creating. Then I'm just like another 6 months creating that.
Yeah.
So I thought, no, I'm just going to do like one-on-one, and then maybe in the future with all the information I have and everything, maybe I can
100%.
reduce like an initial subscription or
Course
whatever,
materials,
which is warming them up to. But at the moment, it's like focus.
Yeah, 100%.
So at the moment, it's I'm looking at 10K for the 12 months.
Okay.
So basically, obviously, 6 months would be
Got it.
5K.
Are we talking dollars or euros?
Dollars.
Okay. And one thing, it's just an idea that I had in mind, might not be easy to sell, but it's like, how Alex Hormozi did the whole thing of like buying the bundle of books and you can give it to, the people that you work with and everything, or your clients. It would be super interesting in the future if it's someone like a CEO position or an exec, if they really see the value in it, like their C-suite or the team around, also making them go through your process and having some sort of bundle when it comes to that.
I'm actually studying that, especially in the US because of healthcare. There are incentives, so I am studying that. And one of the things that that's why I wanted to launch this and get this ready in December, because I'm going to be in Las Vegas in January, and you just have to sit around a casino long enough to see that all middle upper management are obese.
Yeah.
And if you think that to walk from one side of the casino to the other would take an eternity, and then you won't be able to talk to them for like 10 minutes, that is a huge problem. And you're talking about talent. So mentally, these are very talented people,
Yeah.
but basically their body is slowing them down, like
Yes.
anything. And so I think now, but I'm trying to think of like, and I'm just going to try and book some meetings while I'm there with the casino groups
Yeah.
and just pitch it and see what the feedback is.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely I think that would be, I don't think a CEO can, one thing is for a CEO to say to a group of people, we're doing a transformation, even that, I've been in that and it's horrible because it's basically like you're talking to to them and they're like, yeah, it was his idea. Like, what do we have to do? Now, to be something personal, which is, I don't even know you can do that legally. You know, it's like
force them to go through the transformation.
Fat shaming us, right? Like all of you have to. Though I think the US are doing that with the military.
Yeah. Yeah, because what my idea is like, of course, now I'm thinking of like smaller group. That's, for example, also the team that we work with is a small team and we're very connected to each other.
There's like a team culture.
Yeah, so I was thinking, of course, in a level of like if they're super. I imagine like a tech company. Sometimes they're like multiple founders and they're like very close.
It could be something whereas there are incentives in terms of healthcare, and for the company it makes sense. And what they say is, in our wellness program, if you want, there's this Shred Tech program that we've done a partnership. That gives me the opportunity to work one to group without going through the getting enough people work in a group. And that makes sense in terms of, because that's a private relationship with a company. So that could make sense. Yeah. And that's the only thing that at the moment I'm distracted with trying to do is that group coaching with and I'm testing it out with one or two companies.
Yeah, but also at the same time, and also to like not get you distracted and to act as soon as possible. I think also for someone to take action when it comes to that, someone that is connected to the company in general would have needed to have such a positive experience with you.
Yeah.
So I think at the same time, the first step is just hiring one person, right? And that can
cold call.
Right, and that can happen after.
Great, yeah. That'll go down well.
And that can happen after. One thing that I want to ask you is like the programs that you sold before, were these like 10K or you had a different pricing before?
So I started 2, then went to 3, then went to 5.
Okay, got it. Okay.
I realized the elasticity was
there. So when it comes to this, man, I want you to realize that the moment where you speak to an ICP like them, the moment they see the value, pricing is rarely like the problem, of course. So I'm not against like 10K for a fitness program. It's already like a good price. I'm not saying like, ooh, it's super low, no. But it's like one thing that I do is, and that gets us to the next point. The reason why we went from charging low 4 figures to now 5 figures for our program is simply because we kept on increasing the price and people kept on buying it, right? Yeah. So everything that we want to do is based on data. So what we're gonna do, and we send you our form to track everything, but as soon as we start posting content consistently, you're gonna start getting leads, you're gonna start getting conversation, replies, book calls, show up and close. And if we track all these sales part of things, now we see, okay, 10K, you had like a 70% close rate, why are we not increasing the price, right? Yeah. So it's like, I think it's a great starting point, but as soon as we see that you are actually closing.
Yeah, and actually in one of the forums, before you get on the call, there's like a 11-page form to fill out, which will give me so much information, but also it's like the consultation. A call is a consultation, so they're getting value out of it because they're giving me all the information and I'm just giving them back where they are and where the problems are, and we're talking the same language. But on that form there is specifically, what are you prepared to invest? And I start off at the lowest end at 3 to 6, as if like below that it's
makes no sense.
100%.
So and that goes up to 30. So I don't believe anyone will put ever 30 because I've filled out those forms and I would never do that. I understand what they're asking, but also I'm kind of thinking, well, I don't want to be a cheapskate. I also don't. Okay, so I'm gonna sit in the middle. So at least it gives me, and also the how desperate do you want it? There's a point there, which is 100%. Just tell me what to do now.
One thing that comes to my mind also when it comes to the pricing, that's like also because if we're talking about these high level people and money is not necessarily a problem, at the same time, and of course like most of them actually pull through and do the whole thing because you're also very selective in that sense. But sometimes having a price that still hurts a little bit to pay helps in then also motivating them and keeping them accountable of like, I mean, it's like it starts to become quite a lot of money. So it's still like, if I spend, for example, not 10K, maybe 30K, I'm like, do I really want to drop off halfway through the program or stuff like that? It's like, so sometimes the price is also powerful in terms of a driving
Delivery.
factor in that sense of delivery, and like also positioning it as like, I know that you're committed because this is money that still has a meaning to you. It's not like spare change, you know what I mean?
I still remember once someone joined, he was an entrepreneur making multiple six figures a month, and our pricing at the time I think was like 2.5K. We were at the very beginning, and he reached out to us via email, and he ended up buying the 2.5K in an email without a call, because it was like, I just want to see what you guys do. I don't think he ever showed to one call.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just because to him it was so little money
That's like the $49.
Exactly.
Download and
Yeah, because it's always the thing, the more your ICP changes, the more the pricing, changes. So again, 10K, I'm a big fan. We're big fans of being the most expensive in the market, because we were actually talking to this about it the other day. We did a shotgun interview with 5 different VAs. 4 of them have the same price, and 1 of them was the
More
most
expensive.
expensive. What do you think we went for? The most expensive. Why? Because this one bucket, okay, you almost consider it as like one person. And then it's like, wait, why does this VA, it's like double the other ones? Like, why, what does she have that is different than the other ones? Like, is she double like
The quality, and you almost are reverse engineering and
yeah.
like selling to yourself why that's worth that price.
So
you know?
you literally start selling it to yourself, exactly. So what I would do here, not telling you 10K is wrong, but if you can find similar programs, something that you have, it doesn't have to be, of course, exactly the same, but I would study their pricing. You can even jump on a call with them, like try to understand how they sell, and then you see that they offer 10, that to me would immediately like a signal to be go to 13, 14, 15, right? Right now, we're probably the most expensive in our market. If not, we're like top 1, 2. And people tell us that. You guys know that I was jump on a call with him and her. You guys are the most expensive. Yeah, we know, right?
Yet you're still there.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a reason.
So-
and yeah, 100%. The other thing is like in general, as going back to what I was saying of the accountability and also like making them actually then take action. It's also like, regardless of who you're targeting, it always has to feel a little bit expensive. A little bit. Doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, it's all of their money or like everything that they imagine to spend for this. But it's like, at least it has to feel a little bit expensive. Because again, this is what we've seen multiple times. There's this example that Brian mentioned, but there was also another entrepreneur that comes to my mind that paid us, I think, like 6K, something like that. We had like a chat for a little bit. We called maybe a couple of times and then he disappeared. Because again, it's like they don't value it if there's not a little bit of that accountability.
No,
and
if you'd asked me, I remember once looking in the mirror and just thinking to myself, shit, I would have paid 40K for this. If someone could guarantee me this, the thing is, how do you guarantee it? Because I didn't know.
Of course.
I trusted him. I thought, it's like I'm in my 50s. It's now or never, right?
Of course.
But at the end of the day, if you can actually get them to visualize, and it's like, for someone who's lived thinking about that for so long, there isn't a price.
But I mean, there's always a certain degree of fear in doing this or being worried about it. But like, becoming the most expensive is the one lever that I told you that we pulled that immediately made us double the business essentially.
Yeah, and also I think if you're going for the Fight Club thing, they don't expect you to be cheap.
No.
So
No, they
that's
don't.
why I haven't
They would
really-
probably be like,
That's why I haven't really heard that much or
Yeah.
whatever. That's and they'll probably want to know more about it, have more questions. But
there's probably a number that would actually like lower your sales. Like if you pick too much of a low number, because someone start thinking, wait, this guy is almost like promising to transform my body, something that I put off for like 20 years, and all I have to pay is like, for example, 6K to do this, right? It's like
almost like skeptical of the quality of the product. It's the same as like if you buy a cheap product, oftentimes it's just like you expect it to be kind of shit.
yeah. And you're comparing it to others, so if everyone else in the market is at 10, you're like going, okay, so what are they both doing?
Yeah.
If you can find where you're not comparable to anyone in the market,
It's
then
exactly what we're.
You're sort of in your own.
It's exact bucket.
then
It's
a matter of
exactly what
whether
we're talking
you
about.
pull it off or not.
Yeah.
So
And how you say it as well. It's like,
yeah. So literally the next step here when it comes to this is track close rate and also competitors' prices, like the most senior programs that you can find, and be the most
I
expensive.
did the market research and
Yeah.
it came out that I should sweet spot was around 10K.
Okay.
Okay.
There are other programs, one or two. There's one, but I'm kind of like following that for inspiration. I don't really want to do a call with him
Yeah.
because I'm using a lot of. I think he's the closest one,
Okay.
and we'll leave it.
You can hire someone for like $30 to
Yeah.
get on the call.
It's from the Philippines.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you said you make 100,000 a month? Yes.
I just do calls.
Okay, beautiful. But we're gonna send you all this so we can start tracking all this
I
data.
have like 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
I'm
you,
talking too much.
I know. No, no.
Now
it's
we just
cool.
like want to wrap up
Yeah.
when it comes to the content strategy. so-
Actually, when it comes to the content, Nuno, we already have a lot of clarity because of everything that
Yes.
we talked about this. That's why we always want to start from here. But literally, the number one thing that I want you to do, the two main levers that you have to pull is, first of all, think ICP first, not niche. Like this is a big mindset shift that I want you to go through that we already talked about like yesterday and 2 days ago, in the sense of you need to speak their language, right? That's what you need to focus on, right? Let's not look at the fitness bro. Let's look at the guy that is successful, and that's what finance is key. Because who looks into investment and people that are at this stage, right? So who can we find that is a successful personal brand that is also making good money with it, which is exactly speaking to your same ICP on an extremely similar one. So let's think ICP first and not niche. And the other thing is connect all of these fitness mindset shift, okay? And already in this call, I mean, we're recording the whole thing, but I think we already went through 5, 6, 7 together.
Yeah.
That could be super good content ideas. Connect all these fitness mindset principles to, again, their language, right? And something that would be super interesting that I want to split test together, Nuno, in this month is also the packaging of this. Because, for example, someone like you're basically your same ICP, you're your ICP, right? Why do you love Diary of a CEO? Okay, now we said some things about it that, but in general, you like it, you enjoy watching it. Also think about the packaging of it,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, that's what I.
Exactly.
Like you were saying, it's a trailer. I mean,
Yes.
those things you have to. I'm like, I've got to save this.
Yes,
otherwise-
exactly, man. But it's like usually what I'm seeing, for example, for this ICP, because we work with a few clients that have something similar to this. For example, the whole like podcast and high quality thing is so huge, right? They immediately like tune in, and it also usually connects you to a more scientific approach. Yeah. So I don't only want to think about like the topics and the mindset shift and how to connect them to what they know. It's like also how do we need to package them to take you extremely seriously and pay attention to you. Because I mean, it's like we were talking about an iPhone before. It's like, yes, the product works and it's great. They also did an amazing job in packaging it, right? Yeah. So it's exactly this. So it's this, and then actually not only focusing on their topics, but how do this personal brand package their content to speak to this? Yeah.
And the reactions as well, we definitely need to include that part because I think it's really powerful when it comes to what we were talking about of the authority borrowing, and so being able to leverage topics that are trending right now or reacting to people that might spread misinformation, again, without ever attacking the person, just by sharing the scientific perspective on this, so that, once again, it's like not really for the sake of drama, it's just for the sake of sharing your scientific point of view on that.
And even now, I've kind of changed the way I'm filming because of that. Because I'm more confident now in that. I'm actually, the filming is like more, for me, it's more polished and more professional.
Yeah.
And I'm putting a lot more emphasis on that. Also in terms of, like the B-roll annoys me. So I'm like working a lot more with really good animations, but they're carefully done. And I'm creating a template file, so it's easier to come and pull them out.
Yeah.
So it's more like visually what you would see in a boardroom in another. That way, instead of going for the more animation.
Yeah, of course.
And also, man, like let's leverage the clients that you had so far, and also your friends that reflect this ICP. Like you literally have 20 people that you can probably reach out to and ask for feedback. And I mean, you help them for a year, 6 months.
Yeah.
Like there's this reciprocity now, right? So create this packaging, test different things, and be straightforward with them. Like honestly, tell me which one you would pay attention to. Is it this video A or this video B? Right? Like the more data we can get from your final ICP, the stronger our content will be, right? Because these are the final people that we want to reach. So if you can literally ask them directly, would you watch this or this?
Yes, yeah.
Right? You're getting so much valuable feedback to then build your strategy based on that, right? But as a next step already put, I want you to identify 3 to 5 personal brand and in your opinion speak to your same ICP, and then I want you to send it to us because we also want to be on track with everything and understand exactly how they package your content, how to speak on camera, right?
Okay.
So that would be one of the next steps. But this is really when it comes to top of funnel. These are our priorities right now. Like we need to start by identifying those personal brand and then going through this mindset shift that they're gonna understand by speaking their language and also by packaging it in the right way. Okay. And also same thing, like I told you about the format when it comes to talking to people that you know, your clients and your friends that reflect this ICP. Also ask them about like the mindset shift. Like this is such valuable data. Like I was thinking of doing a video and comparing the, you know, tracking your calories to having the right KPIs in place. Would this help you understand this concept better? Oh yeah, and I never thought about it this way. It's so clear now.
Yeah. Or even
beautiful.
like the parts that you can think of that you already discussed with them that you realize in the call, like explaining it to them this way, make them really shift their mindset around it. You know, even if you didn't record, like you probably have in mind some moments in which you felt like it really clicked, like they really could understand it because of how you pictured it and how you framed it.
Yeah. Just one last format that I want to give you for top of funnel, which I think could be very, very powerful for you. There are certain entrepreneurs that also are very ripped and kind of like breaking down their processes and what they do.
That's mine.
It is.
Sorry. Oh,
No worries.
yeah, to the
We're
farm.
almost, okay, we're almost at like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're able to analyze, for example, what Jeff Bezos or whoever that might be that have a good physique are doing, and you're able to reverse engineer the way they exercise, they eat, like immediately someone that resonates with them and of course aspire to be someone like them, and you can analyze what they're doing, they immediately would be like, oh, I could do that too, or I aspire to do that too. Yeah. So how can you analyze what they're doing? By picking basically idols or people that look up to, that your ICP look up to.
Yeah, the problem is that what I'm selling is completely different.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course, but you can always critique. Again, that's like another thing. It's like, of course,
Or yeah, sure, I understand. So
how can you get
that without having to do that?
exactly?
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Exactly.
got it, yeah.
Exactly.
Or else you'd have to get a
Yeah.
whole team of chefs.
Exactly. But again, you know, is that authority borrowing? But the authority that you pick needs to be
Yeah.
Aligned
connected to
with
your
what
ICP, aligned to your
they want to
ICP.
achieve.
Right. Beautiful. When it comes to middle of funnel, we give a lot of ideas. I'm sure you wrote down some things from yesterday and today's presentation. But one thing when it comes to this is every single time a top of funnel works, so top of funnel works, what you can do is you can go way more in depth into a longer form YouTube, right? And because you're using your top of funnel, your short form to test these angles and see the mindset shift that people resonate with, that your ICP resonates with, amazing. They probably want more of this. How can I create a 15-minute, 20-minute breakdown of how I see this and how they will use it in practical steps to get to where they want to go? Because again, you said it yourself, these people value so much the no BS approach. Like they want someone that can straightforward telling them, you need to do this, this, and this, and this. But if you lead with that with the top of funnel, it can be very, very boring, okay? So if we're able to find the angle to get their attention and then connect the step-by-step process after that, that is gold, because you're testing the angles already and then you're adding the actual steps that they can go through, and you present it to them as a super valuable longer resource where they can spend time with you and get to trust you more, right? So we can turn it into a middle funnel using that marketing angle, okay? And something else that we talked about, the importance of the onboarding and building a plan exactly that we're doing for you right now. with the whole limitation of privacy and everything, but you can double down on that and play with it, like we were telling you about in the event. Onboarding and building a planned session and filming that is such a strong thing, because they can get to know the process, and they're gonna identify themselves in that person that you're helping. And they're gonna see that and they're gonna think, oh my God, that's exactly what I need, right? And the moment they experience that, the sale becomes so much easier. Okay. Beautiful. Middle funnel, something else that I'm not thinking about. This would be definitely the two things that I would start from. And I mean, you know the how much is powerful to do it in person, but at the same time, again, limitation. I'm thinking something very creepy right now. You know, the whole Squid Game, people with masks.
Yeah.
That would probably be a little creepy, but it was like a fun idea that I just said right now.
But even honestly, I feel like in person it will actually be relatively easy, because you can have potentially like two different microphones so that you can isolate the audio tracks, and one can already have the voice changed if you want to keep the anonymity of these people. And then of course, like if they're just like sitting in the same position, you can just censor the face. So actually having a conversation, even in like a podcast environment, which goes back to the kind of content that these kind of people will probably
I've
want
seen
to
it done,
Yeah.
and I couldn't get my head around the fact that I thought I was looking at a police investigation. Because that
Okay.
voice and the
Yeah,
thing was
yeah,
just like, it was on the sales call, whatever he was showing, like,
Oh, okay, I see what
Yeah.
you mean.
and I was like, I couldn't get,
Yeah.
like, I watch crimes, I enjoy watching crimes, I'm just watching another crime.
Yeah.
I think it's a really interesting, I think I have to, recording sales calls might be interesting because they're not sales calls, only the end
Yeah.
we're discussing. It really is basically a consultation,
Yeah.
a debrief of all the information they've given me. And so they've invested already so much time
Yeah.
in giving me all that information.
Yeah.
I'm going to be telling them so many things that they can relate to
Yeah.
because they told me that.
Yeah.
That could be
Already
with
pretty
their
much the onboarding
permission,
in that sense.
Then I could find a way of actually doing something around it. So
Yeah.
so it's not like yeah.
Okay, got
So
it.
I think I need to think about something that would kind of be normal, but wouldn't like be weird.
Okay, got it.
Or
I honestly
a
like
crime.
I think when it comes to that, of course, it's a lot about perspective as well. I feel like, for example, we also consume some content on sales calls. To me, for example, because I'm at this point already used to that, it doesn't really feel that weird to see like them censor, because I just think about it, it's like a sales calls for privacy, they're not necessarily showing the person. And so again, and you can even make it
I
explicit.
think it's just
like,
the way you do it.
yeah,
I think I just have
100%.
to find a way of
100%.
Visually.
blurring it or whatever, and not
Exactly.
putting that ridiculous voice.
Yeah.
No, of course, exactly.
No, I completely
Yeah.
get that, Nuno. And just the last thing that I want to say
The
when it
squid
comes to
thing would
that,
be weird.
that would be very
can't get
weird.
that out of my head.
That would be like a cold thing. Yeah,
Anonymous mask.
yeah, that would be a
Yeah.
little weird, man.
I close things because I scare the shit out of them.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. But the last thing that I want to tell you is also, I know this starts from you and how you enjoy, for example, maybe being private in that process. But also, if you notice that it's not a huge selling point,
Yeah.
the privacy thing, I would not double down on that in the sales process, because you never know, man. I know that maybe 80% of the people are like that in that stage, but maybe you got that 20% that is so happy, which is like, no, I would actually love to share my experience with you.
I don't even know if that's a thing.
That's exactly what I'm
Privacy,
referring to.
I mean, it's a
You kind of just
hypothesis.
assumed in that sense.
No, not at all. I mean, it's
Okay.
like, especially the fact that, I mean, the first thing I did was put photos of me. I'd never put photos of me
'Cause-
online without
yeah.
a t-shirt on. And
Because
so that
the
was the
thing-
first thing I did. So
Yeah, because you said it
and I'm
yourself.
a
This,
private person.
you said it yourself. What moves them is the ego. It's the first like 6 months where
So
they.
showcasing that result.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
you know.
Why wouldn't you show it?
right.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, don't completely go like, now I'm gonna ask everybody to be on it. But it's like, don't close yourself
Yeah,
that
test
door
the
of
ground
like,
on that.
oh, it's gonna be all private. Nobody's gonna, because maybe that's not even something that they want.
You know.
I was just playing around because that's what 2 or 3 people told me was, this sounds like Fight Club. And
Yeah,
Fight
yeah,
Club is
yeah.
so fucking cool.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I love the idea of being part of something that nobody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I'm secretly telling people all the time because they're
Yeah.
like, what happened to you? And I'm
Yeah.
like telling them.
Yeah.
So it's, I think that's what led me
Yeah.
to go down this route.
Right.
And yeah, at the end of the day, it's another lever that you can open or close. It's
Yeah,
not-
exactly. And the last thing I want to add to this is like, if you tell me this, is like in the process where I'm chubby and I don't like myself, I would say I love that. That is cool. When I have abs after wanting them for 20 years, fuck being anonymous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
It's
actually
like
this actually comes from the whole two terms that are really important for me. One, incognito, which is the process. When you're in that process, you
Exactly.
don't tell anybody.
exactly.
And then unrecognizable, which is when you reappear, people go,
But
Who is
who
this
the fuck are
person?
you?"
And
One guy
it's
asked
exactly
me, he
that,
goes,
man.
Are you like, do you have a
Yeah,
terminal
yeah.
disease? I don't know.
And it's exactly that, man. It's exactly that. It's like it's
Yeah.
incognito during the process,
Yeah.
but then people want to show themselves as a different person. So you never know. They actually really might enjoy.
Yeah, I think I
Showing
took
themselves.
that too far.
You watch too much Fight Club, man.
I can relate to that.
Never been to Fight Club.
Yeah. So connecting to all this
The
to say the
testimonials.
testimonials are so
Yeah.
huge, but really reflect on this, okay?
I think also maybe do them in a different way. Maybe more like a case study or something.
Yeah,
or-
like I was showing you before. You remember, like and it was like with the first,
Yeah.
this guy actually. I'm gonna
Because
put
those
this
like
profile
the
here.
things with like all those before and afters just make me like.
No. Like this shouldn't be at all. Please don't do that. I ask you to not do that. It should be a conversation because the way the testimonials work and make you
Yeah.
sale is because people can see the relationship that you build with the.
Even testimonials now, I don't believe any of them.
Mhm.
You know, I really struggle like with new products or whatever when I go. Even Trustpilot, which was fantastic. Now it's just like
Yeah.
I don't believe.
And
two-thirds
the
of
thing
it.
is, I don't want you to see them as testimonial. It's actually changed almost this word, and it's like conversations with your
Yeah.
clients, right?
Yeah.
And with this whole podcast approach that we were talking about, just like you love Diary of Your CEO, like how can you almost recreate that with your clients, where the protagonist, like the guest, is your actual client? How much powerful that would be?
I have one that he basically is in on anything. He's like
Yeah.
every time I do something, I want to test something out. You go, okay, right.
Beautiful.
So I could maybe, I think he'd do it.
That's great, man. But when it comes to top, middle, and bottom, this would be our approach. Now, when it comes to top of funnel, it's the most important because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right now, we just gotta
Yeah.
traffic
Yeah,
in, and we
attention.
gotta be able to test different marketing angles, and top of funnel is what is going to allow us to do that.
I'm only worried about one thing,
Yeah.
which is so I've created around nearly 30 videos, which are all in a certain way.
Yeah.
And now I'm like have evolved into like a second. Normally that would happen. I would be evolving while you're watching
Yeah.
live, so it would be normal. You know, it's like when you go down on Instagram and they go up, you see the person get better and better. And
Yeah.
better. I'm just wondering, but I mean, I don't want to throw away 30.
No,
videos.
and you shouldn't, man,
No.
because these are all hypotheses, and the reason why we're posting things is because we want data
Yeah.
from real
To see.
people, right?
Actually, I enjoyed watching them, so I think that's gonna be exciting.
No, I think you improve so much already in the
Yeah.
piece of content. It would be such a stupid decision
Yeah.
not to post them. So you already have, like, think about it as an asset again, never a liability. You have 30 days of content ready, so you can already start posting and building this so you can start as soon as possible. And in the meantime, work on the new content, and you're gonna be ready
Yeah.
with that, right?
Yeah.
And people will still see this progression, man, because they're gonna see
Exactly
the
the
first
same.
30 pieces of content and then the new
Yeah.
ones,
Just with a slight delay.
right? One thing that I will send you, refine offer. Like I will send you an offer deck of how we present with the phases, and there's a template attached to it to build something similar. It's really important to us to visualize it like that with the 3 phases and everything, and it's basically how you would talk about it to a client on a sales call,
Okay.
right? Okay. And the reason why I put it as a second step is because having crystal clear the offer in mind, how you're presenting, of course it's super aligned with then the content that we're gonna create,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what you're pushing people towards, essentially, getting your offer. And yeah, a little bit of technicalities, but then we're gonna send you this so we can start tracking data when it comes to the
Yeah.
sales process and also the content, and record the sales goals.
Yeah.
And you remember what I told you yesterday, or how I say what I say when I want to record a sales call, make it about them, right?
Yeah.
I needed to genuinely build a plan for you.
Yeah, also
right?
because you literally, as you said, you use it as a consultation call.
Beautiful, beautiful, man. Okay, but this, I don't want to overwhelm you. We don't want to overwhelm you with steps. So now these are the next two things, because I know you love planning sometimes a little too much. So I want you to keep you accountable and just starting to work from these two things. So at least you have, I'm gonna send you all the material that you need for this second one. And here, just wanted to be able to see 3 to 5 personal brands that speak to your ICP. And from this conversation that we recorded right here, we already went through like 5-6 months of shifts that we could use in their content.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can start from those and send these things, send top of funnel angles to your clients. I'm serious about that. Okay. So we can immediately understand what they would resonate to the most. Beautiful. What you think of this plan? You like it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. And also I'm working on, I'm gonna hire someone to do the automation, go high level.
Yeah.
Because I already have a lot of the assets, so it's
Yeah.
just like, I don't want to get away from that, or else I'll just spend too much time on it.
Yeah.
So I already have some of those assets already done. And once that's done, I'll send it.
All right.
Perfect, man.
Perfect.
So we're gonna go through this. I'm gonna send you all you need after this session for the next steps, and let's start building your personal brand.
Cool.
All right, man.
Good. Thanks very much, guys.
Of course, man.